Hi, I'm Nicole, and we're back with Rock Me TV at Saddle Ridge in Pittsburgh, and I am very fortunate to be sitting next to Mr. Aaron Tippin. How are you today, Aaron?
I'm doing great since I saw that shirt in such great company. Boy, that looks great.
Thank you very much.
Never looked on me, I can tell you that.
Have you tried these on?
No, I have not. Just kidding.
Well, we just wanted to talk to you today about TAPS and your involvement. It's a great organization, and we're flattered that you are actually here to help us with this cause. You know, as we've mentioned before, they don't have any government funding, so it's strictly relies on private donations from people. And having you here brings more people out, helps out the cause and the organization, and it means so much. So thank you for being here. Maybe you can talk about your involvement with it.
Well, it's always my pleasure. If I can do anything for the troops or their families, I do. I represent several organizations, you know, that represent our troops, the ASYMCA. I also participate with those guys who help families of soldiers while they're deployed, and also the Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Disabled Veterans of America. I'm a supporter of our troops and the sacrifices those people make. So anytime I can step up to the plate to try to help out, I do all I can.
Well, this is great, and we appreciate you being here very much. What's the last year been like for you?
You know, we have really had a pretty big year, and I've got two young sons at home, so the past couple of years I hadn't toured a lot. You know, we've kept it down to a minimum. This year we stepped the dates up, you know, another 25, 30 shows, so that's a lot more. You know, and at my age, you got to be careful. You can't get out there too much. You'll fall off the stage and break your neck or something. But we've had a good year, and we've had a big year, and it's not over yet. You know, this will run all the way to Thanksgiving when we leave to go to Iraq to visit our troops over there. And when we come back, then it starts ramping down towards Christmas, and along about Christmas time starts maybe a couple of weeks vacation.
Good. Sounds good. Okay, so that's what's coming up in the next year. What do you have for albums and so forth that people can look forward to?
Two things going on. Actually, just because this is my heritage and where I came from, and a lot of folks in the country world don't know this, but I'm an old bluegrasser and an old very sorry banjo player. So me and a fiddle player went in and cut a bluegrass album on me a few months ago, and we're working on that, finishing that up. My wife is working on a gospel album, and I'm producing that for her. So when I get home, I got a lot of work to do. It never seems to let up. I come out here on the road to get some relaxation.
You also have a daughter, is that right?
I sure do, and she's 29 years old. She lives in Greenville, South Carolina. Her husband is a Black Hawk pilot for the South Carolina Air National Guard.
You're from the Carolinas, right?
I was raised in the Carolinas. I was actually born in Pensacola, Florida, but raised in the Carolinas. That's funny accent. I get that from the Carolinas.
It's a nice accent.
Well.
Now, I heard that you used to own a firearms store. Is that true?
Oh, sure. Big outdoorsman. You know, still love the outdoors. And I used to own a firearms store. And I say firearms store. It's an outdoor store. And of course, we sold guns and handguns, rifles, shotguns, and bows. You know, and anything for the outdoors.
I can appreciate that you had a firearms store because I'm a deer hunter myself. So that really caught my interest when I read that.
Man, you probably killed the biggest deer in this county, I'll bet.
Actually, it was in Ohio, and I had a 12-point and a 10-point. So I had some help dragging it out, though, because I can't do that by myself.
If a buck walked by and looked up in the tree and saw you, certainly it'd allow you to shoot him.
Well, I hope so, because he's now on my wall in my office.
That's great. That's great. When we get through with this, I got some pictures to show you from West Virginia.
Okay.
Oh.
I look forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
So tell me about, you know, a lot of fans know who you are and they've seen your shows, but why don't you tell us about what your first show was like and how that was?
I had a pretty interesting first show. The first show ever in my career after I signed with RCA Records was Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I was on the Bob Hope show, and that was my very first professional show. So I thought that was a pretty good way to kind of kick it off with Bob Hope. That's a lot bigger than I expected my first audience to ever be, which is probably about, oh shoot, I don't know, 10, 15,000 soldiers. So it was a pretty big crowd.
Great. Okay, so with that, when you first started off and you had an involvement in the major record labels, can you talk about that? And I guess I read that you don't have a close attachment to major record labels, and that's for a certain reason.
Well, I just think, yeah, I was on the majors for 16 years, and it was all good and fun, but the whole time you're there, you're still wanting to be on your own, and it's happening quite a bit in the country music world, where a lot of us are going out starting our own labels and doing our own music because we've come far enough that we can, and have the opportunity to make the music we want to make. And I got a lot of great friends back in Nashville and that work at record labels where I was at RCA and at Lyric Street, and and they all wish me well with what I'm doing. But it's kind of music by committee. It's not really all Aaron Tippin and what I think the music should be. It has to go through a filtering system to get to the listener. And that's really not what I want. I want to do the music that's kept Aaron Tippin out here, running for these past 17, 18 years. And that's songs like Working Man's PhD and Got It Honest and You Got to Stand for Something and My Blue Angel and Wouldn't Have It Any Other Way and stuff like that. So, that's the stuff I want to do. I want to do the music that the country music fan wants to hear out of Aaron Tippin.
Tell me about your song, He Believed. Your son is in that video, is that correct?
Oh, it sure is. He's kind of playing the part of old dad, or playing the part of me as a child. And my dad was an aviator, and that big airplane, the T-28, was one of the airplanes that he instructed in when he was at Bainbridge, Georgia. He was an Air Force instructor. And so that was one of the airplanes he was flying when I was growing up. And it's just really cool. We kind of based it around that. My father passed away, and that's what the song's about. It's just a song about him. And, of course, so many songs I've written about him. You got to stand for something, I wrote that about my dad and Got It Honest and Working Man's PhD and stuff like that. They're all about him. That's him coming out in me without a doubt.
What's a typical day like for you?
I usually will wake up, depends on how late we played the night before. If it's been a 1 or 2 o'clock before we get on the bus, and then I'm usually in the sack till 8 or by 9 o'clock I get up and I'm on my way to the gym from 9 to 10:30 to 11, something like that, and then come back, eat lunch, get through with lunch, whatever business there is to take care of back in Nashville. Nowadays with the Air Card and your computer, I'm virtually at the office every day too. So, and if there's anything to do, interviews, telephone interviews, or video interviews, we usually do them after lunch sometime. Along about 3 or 4 o'clock comes sound check. We do a sound check. Then there's a couple hours to get ready for the show, do the show, sign autographs the end of the night, get on the bus, and go to the next town.
That must keep you pretty busy. Is that how you stay in such good shape? Are you still going to the gym as much as you used to?
Well, I still going as much, maybe more, but not lifting the weights I was as a young man. I get too many broken parts at this age. I have to it's definitely maintenance mode, but it's more aerobics and less weight.
Good. Well, you look great, and the songs are great, and thank you. Maybe I'll run into you at the gym sometime. That would be great.
I was downtown here.
I heard about that this morning, but I didn't get a chance to run down there. Otherwise, I would have, believe me. You could show me a few things.
Well, you could have spotted me. I'd surely take a spot from you. Or advice or anything.
Well, you guys heard it here first from Aaron Tippin. My name's Nicole, and I'm with Rock Me TV at Saddle Ridge. We'll see Aaron inside for an awesome show. Everybody's been waiting for it, and we can't wait to see you on stage. It's going to be great. Oh, you bet.